Hey, JC here for retirecheap.asia. We're coming up on the end of 2012 and entering 2013. So I want to just take a minute to reflect on the year and also looking forward into the next year of 2013. First of all, looking back on 2012, the world's economy has been in a tailspin, and I think it's going to continue to do that. You'll see signs of recovery, but it's going to be, if you look at the stock market, it's going to reflect what's happening. And it's a sideways market, which means there's ups and downs, but basically it's not going in either direction. And I think that's going to be the case, and it might even downturn even more, or spiral downward. Some of the things that are creating these upward spikes are temporary fixes, and if countries continue to just print money and stuff, it only causes more inflation, and it's going to create a bigger crash when it happens. But anyway, that's what's happening in the economy. And what that's done as far as how that relates to what I do is it just fuels the fire for me to be able to create more options for you all. And anybody that's viewing these, I really want you to understand that even though I live in Southeast Asia, that's because of the proximity of these countries. That's where these videos are focused on. But really, looking at your life, if you're back home and you're facing some challenges, there's a couple things you can do. One is, don't get emotionally involved. If you get too emotionally involved in what's happening, you're going to be making decisions out of reaction instead of proaction. And what I mean by that is there's never a good decision that's made out of reaction. If anything's happening, you need to sit down and take time to think about it. Don't immediately react, even though you might feel like you need to. Sit down and think about it. Because I can tell you, over all these years, a lot of distinctions I've made is that when people look back on things that seemed in the moment to be negative things, they were actually fuel or a catalyst for changes that were made in their life that actually improved their lives. And I have a belief, and it's a global belief that I try and use all the time, that everything is happening on purpose. And I don't mean like the way most people think about that as being, it's happening on purpose. I think it's happening for you to put your life on purpose. There's a reason I feel that everybody's here. You have a gift or something that is effortless for you, that creates value for the greater good. And I think most of the things that are happening are putting you or directing you to your purpose. And I've seen examples of that throughout my life, where I see the people that are really good artists, but they're a pest control, spraying people's houses with pesticides. And I say, why don't you draw? You're such a great artist. Oh, I can't do that for a living. And then you watch their business fail or something happen to them. They might even get ill from the chemicals. And I think, it's a fight. If life for you is a fight, that's not a good sign. It shouldn't be a struggle. And I think once you find your purpose or your reason for being here, and it's usually an expression of your talent that you've already been given, life becomes effortless. And the reason for that is because you're doing something you really like to do. And then if you do it because you like to do it, so that you're rewarding yourself just by expressing yourself, what usually happens is other people resonate with that. Because we all sort of have the same feelings and desires down deep, and then I think it becomes profitable because other people want to share that with either themselves or with other people, and then it becomes a supply and demand where more people want what you do than what you can produce, and that's what creates value in it. So keep that in mind. Another thing is to look at where you're at and where you want to go. And I've said this before, is start out with where you want to go. And then say, okay, this is where I want to live. This is what I want my lifestyle to be like, and then backtrack from there to where you are now and find out what actions have to be taken. If you start out where you are now, sometimes it's overwhelming and you can't ever get to that place you want to go to. But if you work backwards, and you'll have a clear image of where you're headed. I hope that makes sense as far as, geographical location, income you're going to need, and then you change your life to make that work. We have a member in our membership site who had a 5-year plan, came over a couple times and then went back and said, wait a minute, I know how much now it's going to cost to do this, and they changed their 5-year plan and it turned into a 7-month plan, and they're on their way over. They'll be here for the New Year's. So think about that. And going into the 2013, by the way, the world didn't end as the Mayan calendar predicted. I figured that the guy who was working on my Mayan calendar, 2 things happened to him. One is he realized that this cycle of the calendar can go on into infinity. So he said, well, why am I doing this, And he ran out of stone that he was chiseling on and said, hey, I'm going to go hang out at a beach somewhere, and this thing is, just put it aside, it's just going to last forever, go on forever. And so that's how it ended. But we read into things, we read into everything the way we want to perceive it, basically, and it has nothing to do sometimes with what the intention of somebody was. So keep that in mind as well, because that's applicable to everything in our lives. So for 2013, I wish you all a lot of joy and happiness. I want to thank you all again for being fans of my work, of what I do to try and help people. I appreciate all the support from you all. I hope that more people will be able to accomplish their goals for their life in 2013. And if I can help you in some way to do that, to keep you inspired and show you more options to make that happen, that's my goal and my role. And if I can do that, then I fulfilled my goals for the year. So again, happy holidays, and a happy New Year, and hang in there. And remember, when it comes to designing your life, there's always an option. Take care.